listening to Ridecast, the podcast of the Widow's Sons Ridings chapter. The opinions expressed in this episode do not represent those of the Widow's Sons Masonic Biker Association UK and Ireland. You can find us on Facebook at Widow's Sons-Ridings chapter, on Instagram at Widow's Sons_Ridings chapter. Our website is ridings.wsmba.uk. You can look us up on YouTube by searching for the Ridecast channel. And if you want to contact us directly, email us on ridecast@hotmail.com. Right, that's the housekeeping taken care of. Kickstands up, on with the show. Hello, and welcome to Ridecast Season 3, Episode 5. This is the final episode of the season. We're recording a little bit late, aren't we? We're actually into the new year. This was supposed to be recorded in December, but we've overrun a little bit. Blame Pigpen and Gremlin for that, because I'm always raring to go. Getting them in the studio is impossible. So anyway, let me introduce my co-host. First of all, I have the notorious Gremlin.
Happy New Year, everybody.
And also Pigpen. Hello, Pigpen.
Hello, I'll say Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas and Happy New Year 2024. Hello.
Well, can I just stop you there? Can I just stop you there? That proves a point. He's always behind the times. That's why he rides a Honda.
It started already. It started already, guys. Right, okay, so just to warn all the listeners, we're going to do a fairly short episode on this one. We haven't got a big segment 2 to do as such. We're just going to do
I hear them all saying, thank Christ for that.
Yeah. We're just doing a highlights reel, basically, for 2023. So a short episode, and then we can crack on next month with Season 4. We'll be going into Season 4, so this is the finale of Season 3. Okay, as usual, we're going to do in segment 1 a quick update on what we've been up to, and obviously we've been into the winter season now, so not an awful lot to talk about, is there, Gremlin?
No, to be fair, my trike is locked away in a garage off-site because I'm having some work done at the house, and I need to make room back in my garage because I'd like to go out in it at some stage.
Yeah. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the fact that I went to the Arboretum installation, which is a very well-known lodge in York, one of the premier lodges in York. And I popped there in December for their installation meeting. And who should I bump into? But Brother Jimbo, the provincial grandmaster for Yorkshire West Ridings, who became an honorary member of our chapter back in, when was it we did his patching? Was it?
November, I think, wasn't it?
Was it that
or
late?
October. November.
Right, yeah. So it was nice to bump into another widow's son there, and
if we had a decent secretary, he'd be able to tell us straight away.
It's all gone quiet over there.
I think he's on mute. He's certainly dumb.
All right, so the next thing then, Christmas party. Now, I didn't make it to the Christmas party because I had 3 other black tie events in December, and I just was black tied out. And frankly, you've got to watch the finances a bit, haven't you? So how did the Widow's Sons Ridings Chapter Christmas party go, guys? I'll let you talk.
Best one ever.
Yeah, best one ever.
Yeah, it would be.
Well, to be fair, it was back at the Bridge Inn at Walsford. We know the format there. So, drinks reception, disco, decent meal, and a bit of dancing. And it was very good. And there was a big announcement there because the president of the chapter said there at the meeting that we had a great amount of money to give away to charity. And before the end of January, we are going to be distributing £5,000 to 10 charities.
Wow. And that's not all this year. We have made other charitable donations earlier in 2023 as well, haven't we?
I think by the time we finish my presidency in February, we will have, I think, donated over £6,000 to charitable causes.
That's not bad for a ragtag bunch of bikers, is it?
And if we include our share of the contribution for the Life Lights, which is coming from the national rally in July, it'll be closer to 7,000 that I think we've actually donated.
Well done, guys. Well done to the chapter.
Well done.
Well done.
I think it's well over that because we did 500 to the festival.
We did.
Yeah.
We've given money to the canal boat, Disability Action Yorkshire.
We did 250 to Disability Yorkshire. That's another 1,000.
We given to Connaught Court.
We did 250 to Connaught Court.
Well, I think by the time we do our next recording, we need to have that figure.
Yeah,
we'll have
a total, and I think it's going to be up to thick end of 8,000 quid, isn't it? So well done to all the members of the chapter that helped raise funds, and to the administrators who I'm sat looking at now, Gremlin and Pigpen, along with the VP and Diesel and all the other guys that work behind the scenes. Thank you very much, and this is for you. Oops, all sorts of noises going on. Right there, stop that. Okay, so that's the charity. Can I just quickly ask as well, while we're on the subject, candidates, Pigpen, how are we doing for candidates? Because I have noticed you've added just the odd one or two in the last few weeks, haven't you, to the chat group? So we must be doing pretty good for candidates at the moment.
Yeah, as it stands, we have 37 members.
Right.
Actual paid up subscribing members, and we've got 11 candidates of varying states of
candidacy, as it were.
Candidacy type thing. Yeah, so
we've actually met a few of them this time, haven't we?
Yeah, one or two we've met. One or two we've met once.
Yeah, and a few of the most recent ones we've yet to meet.
Yes, so we've got a few guys.
So we've got a few prospective members in the new year. So hopefully a few more patching ceremonies next year or this year. Now we're in 24.
We've got a couple of real keen ones. Lee Aggie.
Yeah.
Yep.
He'll be keen, but he's still only a
entered apprentice.
Apprentice at the moment, isn't he?
It's a good problem to have, isn't it?
No, the problem is they haven't got a master, so nobody turns up, so they can't do the ceremonies.
Why don't you step into the chair and do all the ritual, Gremlin? You're brilliant at it.
Send him to Knaresborough Priory. We're doing one for. Do you remember John White, who I came and you did his initiation?
We did.
At Yakka's Lodge. I came
as
a visitor.
Yeah. No, we did his. Did we do his first or his second? It was his first, was it?
It was his first degree. I'm sure I know that guy. And then it turned out
he was in your diving club, wasn't he?
He was in the dive club.
Yeah.
We are doing his third.
Why?
Because he's going to join us as a joining member.
Is he an Invictus?
He is at the minute, yes.
Yeah, so he's an ex-military guy.
Yes.
Right, that makes sense.
It's a bit of a pain for him to get over to York, so we're going to do his third for him, and then we're going to ballot for him as a joining member of our lodge.
Yeah, it's a shame because he's obviously going from it's like dropping down a division in football, isn't it? Going to Priory.
Well, no, he's left the Kickers League like you, you know, like the Lassels and the Harlow. He's left that league, and now he's come to the Premier. You know, he's in the first division now. It's all change. Do
you know what? What we ought to do is ask any of our listeners if they fancy coming to 3 lodges next year. Yakka's, Pigpen's and mine, and just seeing which one do they think gives the best overall experience. I don't know if I'm tweaking my red clown nose when I'm saying that.
Well, if they come to Lassells, they'll be able to do the response.
Hang a second. I didn't mention Lassells, did I?
No, Harlow.
Harlow. Because that's my mother lodge.
You're saying Harlow, are you? Right.
Yep.
He's nominating Harlow.
First Friday of the month, Harlow. Is it third or fourth Friday of the month, Knaresborough Priory?
Fourth.
And fourth Monday.
And fourth Monday for Agricola. Now, obviously, everybody wants to go to a Friday lodge because they tend to get like a bit excitable if it's a Friday and it's a weekend coming.
Yeah.
You know, Monday nights are good. Like my Lassells, we have a great time on Monday night, like you do at Agricola.
Yeah. Agricola at the moment is exceptionally high standard because the worshipful master at the moment is quality, real quality, unbelievable.
Who is it?
It's me.
Also, be prepared for a pie at both Priory and Agricola. A Leanne special pie.
Oh, yeah. Steak pie with a bit of extra gravy.
If you like pie, go to those.
You can't knock Leanne's food. Can't knock it. 18 quid, 3 courses. Man, you get yours cheaper than that, don't you, Pigpen?
Yeah, we're 17 quid for 4 courses.
Oh yeah. She uses the Tesco's finest at our lodge, and she uses the cheap budget stuff at your lodge, doesn't she? Tesco's finest carrots at our lodge.
Also, I think she has a little bit of a thing for our Piggy Wiggy. He gets
Well, who
double
doesn't?
dumpling.
Come on.
He gets double
She's
dumplings
only
from her.
female. Of course, she's only female.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
matter.
he's the heartthrob of the chapter. We've always said he's the heartthrob
I
of the
know.
chapter.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Yep. There we go.
Okay, let's just move things forward a little bit. Can you just tell us what the dealio is for the AGM 2024? Where is it? When is it? And what's on the agenda? Any little heads up of what we're looking at?
Our secretary should have his finger right in the pulse and tell us. I know what day it is. It's a Saturday. It's February, and I think it is February the
10th.
February the 10th.
And are we holding it at our usual spot?
Squires.
We're all booked into Squires.
Yep, 10 o'clock start, but hopefully most will be there for about 9 o'clock for a great
Breakfast,
big
yeah.
fat knacker breakfast.
Yeah.
Trip has already phoned his order in because he's having 3.
Yeah, he likes a full breakfast, doesn't he, Trip? I was at Squires yesterday. I jumped on the me and Vicky jumped on the bike and we had a ride out. I thought I'm desperate for a ride. Thought I'll warm
Did
the
it
bike
start?
through. Yeah,
Did it
no
start?
problem. All started
Yeah.
lovely. Had a ride out, but I tell you what, we'd misjudged it a little bit because it was freezing. I put my full gear on, leathers, the whole 9 yards, jackets and neck warmer and all that. But it was, I had my heated hand grips on, and on the ride home, it was flipping cold. I tell you, couldn't get home quick enough. But anyway, yeah, it was nice to get out to Squires. There's quite a few there.
Was it? Was it weather?
Yeah, there must have been about 40 odd bikes there. So so that was that. So AGM wise, is it? I would imagine it's all pretty straightforward. There's nothing heavy to discuss. So has anyone requested anything be added that's of any importance, or is it just a standard?
Well, the only thing that could be a bit confusing is I'm standing down as president. President elect isn't going to be there. He's on holiday.
When's he back? Can we not put it off a week?
He's not back.
No.
We have to do it because of the national AGM.
Right.
He's not back till the week after, so he'll still miss the next Saturday.
Yeah.
And then it's the national AGM the week after that.
We can't pull it forward to the end of January. I mean, you haven't released the dates yet, so you could maybe.
We have.
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put it on the chat the other day as well.
All right. So how does that work then? You're going to be chairing the whole thing again, are you?
Yeah, I'll have to. I don't mind, but it just means that he's voted in his absence.
Yeah. Oh well. Maybe he's trying to tell us something.
No.
Come on, Cassio. It's your turn in the
Yeah.
chair, mate.
It is. He's going to be fine. We'll make a good president.
Oh, and you know what you're going to get, don't you, Gremlin?
Oh, look at that! Yes.
Yeah, your ex-president's pin.
Past
It is.
president's pin.
Past,
president.
not ex-president. Past president.
And we're back into segment 2. And as I said, not a real deep dive this month. We're just going to do a little highlights reel from the last 12 months. What we did in 2023. I mean, I've got a few of my own personal highlights, but do either one of you guys want to kick off with anything that's memorable?
Watching Gremlin for the first time on his trike, that was memorable.
Yeah,
Oh,
wobbling
don't.
around, crashing into things.
Yeah. God, that was one of the most embarrassing experiences of my riding. Sitting on a trike and not knowing, thinking I was going to fall off or I was going to fall over, and kept trying to put my left foot down, didn't I? Because obviously I can't put my right foot down because I don't have one. And then steering it to the left, crashing it. Well, did I crash into a bin or something? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, you were getting used to the back wheels, weren't you?
So that's a year ago since I got that.
I don't think it helped that sort of 25 members turned up to support you. So you
Laughing at me, you mean?
All eyes were on him, weren't they? On his new
you were
bike.
very much under pressure from the very start. So
And I think that is the first time that we met Brother Scud, and that was another memorable experience. Because apparently he came in a sort of twist and go 25cc that you pedalled at the same time. And some of the brothers followed him and turned up at Squires like an hour after we all got there.
Yeah, that was something that Frank had lent him, wasn't it? He borrowed this Lex Moto thing.
I'm going to say Lex Moto 125. You were on, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then he bought his, what was it, his pre-war Kawasaki. Is that,
with his missile launchers on the back.
Yeah. And now he's got a proper bike.
A proper bike.
Which broke down on first ride out.
Oh,
and,
no.
I'm looking at the chat group. He needs a new wheel already, a new tire. What is that man like? Hopefully, 2024 will be a year.
It's going to be his year.
When Scud completes a ride out.
Speaking of highlights, then one of mine was initiating Liagi, because for me, when a guy comes out riding with us as a non-Mason, just a biker, and one of our brothers in the Widow Sons brings him along, says, "Come with me, come and meet my mates on the bikes," and they come out riding with us, and they enjoy riding with us. They get to know us, and it draws them their interest in Freemasonry. And long story short, from non-Mason to Mason, thanks to the Widow Sons. And I we all, a lot of us went to his initiation ceremony, and it's a real win for the Widow Sons and Freemasonry, as far as I'm concerned.
It was also a couple of patching ins were very memorable, both for different reasons. One was the patching in of Trax, who was completely unaware it was going to happen. And we met up in Massam. And then from there, Pigpen led us out, and he found a field with a gate open, and we all pulled into it, and we did his patching in there and then.
Yeah, impromptu patching ceremony.
Yeah.
He was a bit shocked, wasn't he?
He was.
Very.
The second patching in that's very memorable, I'm trying to think whose it was, where we met. Well, yes, we met at Pigpen's again, and Inky disgraced himself, didn't he, by destroying Pigpen's toilet.
Pebble dashing the toilet.
On behalf of the chapter, yet again, I want to apologise to Emma for that awful display by Inky. Stinky Inky.
Less said about that, the better, really.
Whose patching in was it? Because that was very poorly.
Oh, it would have been.
Who was patched in after Trax?
It was Pacamac. Was it Pacamac?
Yeah, it was.
It was Ian.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think Jimbo's was quite an exceptional day for us as a chapter to all go to Leeds there to Castle Grove to.
Yeah, it was an amazing turnout. A big convoy of bikes riding in together. Great breakfast, real good breakfast. It was a dry day, which is always a bonus at that time of year.
It was,
and it was great to do the patching ceremony. I have the couple all done.
And the video that was posted on the province website didn't even have me on it. It had Pigpen leading the ride in.
Yeah, you disappeared from the video.
Why we're going to put a tricycle?
I was cut out of it totally.
Come on. The mighty Honda just leads the way, so that's what we did. But no, apart from that, I think Jimbo was very moved at the ceremony. He was very impressed with you two doing the two parts.
Yeah, the ritual.
And as he said, it's probably 30 years ago since he did any form of obligation.
Right. Yeah.
I think it sort of moved him. And then we actually did a presentation because that was the actual launch day of the festival as well.
Yeah, it was 2028 festival. Yeah.
So it was the 23rd of September when we patched him in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they see a Widow Sons patching ceremony for the first time, I think they are fairly surprised at how Masonic it actually is.
Yeah. And also how professional it is done, and the ritual is spot on. It doesn't need any prompting.
Well, you can't prompt it. If I don't know it, I can't prompt it. And I don't know your ritual because it changes with whatever you say.
Here we go.
But then, to be fair, the only time in 2 years that I've sort of DC'd, I had to prompt Yakka.
What? Oh,
yes, you did, yeah.
No.
That's the first time ever that you needed a prompt, was at Jimbo's.
You needed a prompt at Jimbo's.
Oh, well.
Yeah, first time
I've had to learn a lot for my own lodge being Worshipful Master, so I've got a lot of my own ritual for my own lodge going, around my head. So
I think the occasion, I think you got a bit of stage fright.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, coming from the north and east over to the Premier Yorkshire.
That's it. The pressure's on, isn't it? I've got to make a good account of myself. So
last time he was there, he was an imposter wearing an imposter's tie.
Wearing your tie, yeah. I thought, God, I'm the only one here not wearing a tie. So I said to Compo, have you got a spare tie? And he was like, yeah, no worries. Little did I know I was going to get berated for it.
I know. Also, the rally highlight, we went to the rally.
Yeah, I've got that on my list next. The rally was brilliant. Do you know what in particular was fun at the rally? We recorded a lot of sort of on-location interviews for the podcast episode. So who did we interview? We interviewed Peter Younger, the past chairman.
Prep school, Greg.
Greg Kirby again.
Chairman,
yeah. That was Greg Kirby, Prep school. And then Jimbo, obviously.
Yeah.
James Newman, PGM.
And some of the Southern chapter who are hosting the rally next year. We spoke to them, didn't we?
Newton Abbott next year. Or this year. I keep saying next year, but it's this year now, isn't it? But and it was a really good rally. It was a good meeting of the Widow Sons Lodge, where there was 300 odd of us there in that lodge meeting. So something special about that meeting, and we were hosting, weren't we, along with the other two chapters. 2
PGMs and an assistant PGM,
and a partridge in a pear tree.
The ride out was very good. Was there 78? Was it 78?
Yeah, 70 odd, don't there? 70 odd.
I was on the doors.
Our earlier in the year as well, I think the month before, our chapter barbecue was pretty good as well. We had a good ride out on the chapter barbecue.
Oh yes,
and we had good weather and
fun at.
Food was good. Some raw
badges.
Chops. I think he was serving a few raw chops there.
No, it was good. It was good.
No, Badger, your barbecues are spectacular.
Legendary.
Can't knock them. Yeah. And I think we raised about 300 odd quid for charity on that occasion as well.
Yep. Yeah.
Good. Anything else about 23 that you want to talk about?
I just want to thank every member of the chapter for the hard work that they put in, whether it's from organising a ride out, whether it's doing the charity side, whether it's doing the merchandise. So thank you to Trip and Sack for all that they do. Yeah. Also to Diesel. I know we haven't seen a lot of him this year because he's been doing some very important exams for his career. But he looks after all the finances very well. So it's a very healthy chapter, and I think going forward to 2024, Casio will be he'll have a lot of support.
How will you feel handing over the reins, Gremlin? Because it's been an emotional 2 years for you.
Yeah, quite. It's part of it. Things it's sad handing it over. I'm president now, and I'm not going to be, and I'm a has-been. And I think
always were.
So I'm sure it's going to be. I'm not president anymore.
Yeah. Are you going to take an office, do you think, or are you going to do what I did and sit back on your laurels? And
I'm going to sit back this year because I've got a lot going on in my private life regarding my disability and taking part
in your transition.
Taking part in the inclusive paddle tennis tour around the world this year, which I'm involved in for
Well, on behalf of the chapter, well done, Gremlin. You've done a really good job for 2 years. You're a bit absent the first year.
Oh, 2 years.
A bit lazy.
Whoa, 2 years. He skived most of the first year, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's a bit absent,
I came
absent
in
parent. The first
I came in as a complete man, and I'm leaving as a 3/4 man.
He stubbed his toe and didn't show up.
Yeah. I'm leaving my right leg for the next president.
And good luck to Casio. He's going to be.
I think so. Absolutely.
God knows he's had plenty of experience through the ranks.
Yes, he has.
Hasn't he? The last few years. He's treasurer for 2 years, VP for a year. So he's the man.
Looking forward to supporting him. And I tell you, I think we're going to have a lot of our members going down to Newton Abbott. I think we're going to have a really good ride down there. There's going to be a lot of us doing it.
Well, Bobby's volunteered to lead the ride down and organise the route and everything.
Yep, so, that's brilliant.
So we should have a convoy. I reckon we'll have at least 15 to 20 bikes all riding down together. So that's going to be incredible.
So.
It's a long old ride, though, isn't it? What are we looking at? About 7 or 8 hours or something? If we're having regular stops.
What?
Well, no, we're not going to do it a 150 mile an hour burst all the way down in one go. We're going to do regular stops. And
it's 5 hours continual riding. So I think we're looking at a 7-hour ride down with stops. And I've got a couple of recovery vehicles on standby for Scud.
We needed somebody in the transit van, don't we, as a support vehicle?
Yeah, we do. So no, it's good. It's good.
7 hours on the Friday, 4 on the Sunday.
Oh, for you. Yeah. Yeah, very
I
good.
think I'm going to be stopping down there for a few more days. I think I'm going to.
Oh, nice.
So I might make a holiday of it while we're down there.
I'm coming back on the Sunday. I mean, unfortunately, I won't be camping.
No, neither will I.
Pigpen, are you camping?
Well, we're camping in your room, yeah.
I booked into a hotel, and I know that House has booked into the same hotel as me. But we're not on the one right next to the rugby ground. We're one like quarter of a mile down the road.
Is that the El Bastido?
El Bastido, yeah. No, you're in the Hotel Sissy Boy, aren't you? I'm in the Hotel Bastardo.
He's in the
right
Pride
next door to the Hotel Nancy Boy. Pigpen's just hoping for anybody to offer any of his Pigpen pals down at Newton Abbot for a little room for him to stay in.
You could sleep in. You could sleep in the bath, mate. But we've only got a shower, so
there must be some care homes that are going to be opening the doors to him.
I'm sure 2 hours will let him sleep on his floor. And we're back into
email corner.
Right, we've got a load of mail to get through this month. So who wants to start?
Well, to be fair, a couple that I've got, I'd like to hand them over to somebody else. Pigpen, why don't you start? Go on, PP.
Dear Ridecast, why were the police at Castle Grove when you patched in the PGM? Were they there to protect the PGM? Have a great Christmas. And that's from a Daryl. Thank you very much, Daryl.
Should we just say yes? That's what they were there for. Makes it a lot more simple, doesn't it? Well.
There were some big nasty bikers trailing around Leeds, scaring people.
Yeah.
And then we turned up and it all calmed down. And
they mixed us up for somebody else, didn't they?
Yeah, I think there'd been a report of some bikers, and
we congregated near a hotel nearby, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a village hotel and health club, and there's some residential houses nearby. And I think somebody called in that there was some sort of possible trouble. No, there's some sort of trouble was going to happen, and that's why we were followed. But it was a marked car that came to where we congregated, and as we were pulling into Castle Grove, it was an unmarked BMW that I was wanting to let go, and it flashed me to go through, and then suddenly followed me into Castle Grove itself, and he drove around and left, and that's when we realised it was a unmarked
They were checking
police
us
car.
out, weren't they? They were checking us out. I think once they realised where we were, you know, it was a Masonic hall, and maybe they clicked that we were Masons, then they drove away.
And I think the guy in the car was as well, wasn't he?
What, a Mason? Well, he was wearing white gloves, wasn't he? So, so that's what it was, Daryl. Nothing as exotic as like security or armed response or anything like that. I think they were just having a look, seeing what we were up to. Simple as that. But thanks for your email.
I think they'd heard the report. There was a very nice trike out there, and they wanted to take a look.
Yeah, could have been. All right, I'm going to read the next one out then. Next email is from Mark, and it says, this is actually a message straight to Pigpen. Dear Pigpen, if you had to choose between diving or motorbiking, which would it be? Cheers, Mark. So the big question, if you had to drop one of your hobbies, would you keep the biking or the diving? And why?
That is tough.
If there was a gun to your head, mate.
I'd probably say diving.
You'd keep the diving?
No,
keep diving or give it up?
I'd drop the diving first and keep the biking. I've rode bikes since I was 4.
Right.
So nearly 50 years I've had a bike. And
nearly
I've never
50, and you started when you were 4. Come on, nearly 60, you mean?
Why, John? So, yeah, I love diving, I love biking, but I think I'll still be biking when my diving days come to an age-related halt.
That's very good news for Honda, then, isn't it?
Pigpen, tell me, from a cost standpoint, which is the dearer hobby?
Yeah, I think diving.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause-
Boats are expensive.
chartering
Yeah,
boats, paying for your equipment.
but you can buy a cheaper bike.
Like you have on many occasions.
Have you? Why'd you? Yeah,
Yeah, it's firing them off now, isn't he? Eh? You've been drinking coffee, mate.
absolutely talks out of it, doesn't he? His oil dribbling Harley.
No, but you've got some like expensive rebreathing equipment and that, which is expensive, isn't it? How much is that rebreather rig that you've got to buy?
A new rebreather now is about £8,000.
Right, but I mean, you can spend £8,000 on a bike easily, can't you?
Oh yeah. Easily spend that. So neither are cheap.
Well, Harley, obviously.
Well, yeah, that's just on an oil change at Harley. Yeah, you can spend that money on both, but yeah, I think personally, I'd drop the diving if I had to do first.
For the love of the two wheels.
I still love my two wheels. I still get a thrill out of zipping along on a country lane.
Yeah, we've seen.
Yeah,
a little dribble following behind him.
Pigpen does like to go fast on his bikes, but he's also steady away when we're group riding. So he looks after the group.
Yeah, can I just say, we might take the piss out of our Piggy Wiggy, but he is a solid member.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so that one is Mark. Hopefully that's answered your question. The choice is biking, which is given that we're a motorbiking podcast, I'm glad to say he chose motorbiking.
Yeah. Dear Ridecast, your guest mentioned a 400cc Husky. I did not know dogs come in engine sizes. What type of bike is a Husky? Best wishes for a happy new year, Jason. Now, this is a strange one because I think was Steve posted abroad when he was on about his Huskies or not? Because
he was on holiday or something, wasn't he?
When I was in Egypt in October, November, I was looking. Everybody rode a bloody motorbike. You know, there may have been 3, 4, 5 of them on the motorbikes. This is the road from to Luxor. And I was looking to see what brand they were, and I can't even pronounce it. I think it's Husqvarna.
Husqvarna, yeah.
Husqvarna.
Yep.
And I think that is abbreviated to Husky. And there's plenty of 400cc Husqvarnas for sale.
And they make chainsaws as well, don't they?
They do. They make all sorts.
Chainsaws and rotavators and...
I've had several Husqvarna off-road bikes.
Have you?
252 strokes.
What country do they originate from?
Well, now Husqvarna got bought out by KTM.
Ah, Austrian then.
So I think they're all part of that team. There's KTM, Husqvarna.
CCM, is it?
No, CCM. CCM was that was British, wasn't it? That was
they?
over.
Right.
Then they got bought. They get bought out by Bombardier.
No, I don't know.
Bombardier,
yeah.
people that make the trains.
Oh, I don't know. They make quite a bit of off-road stuff, don't they? Quads and...
Don't know. Now, apparently, Steve McQueen and Malcolm Smith, I'm not sure who Malcolm Smith is, they rode the Husqvarna 400 Cross on, I don't know if it is a film, on any Sunday. There you go.
So they're older. They've got some heritage then, obviously.
Well, that's 1969 is that one. So 1972. And they look smart. They are definitely, these ones are off-roaders. The ones that I saw in Egypt.
I always saw Pigpen Huskies. You tend to see, your Doug, is it Doug Lampkin? Those trial guys.
Yeah,
they seem to ride on Huskies, don't they, a lot?
Yeah.
Do they do like road going versions, or do they do like adventure bikes?
They do like supermoto type versions.
Do they?
They do that sort, and then they were mainly enduro, motocross, that sort of side. They don't do a trials bike.
Do they just do small engine sizes then?
No, they do up to I think 450 cc, 4-stroke,
which is small, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's single cylinder stuff. I think they cut the teeth on 2-stroke stuff. Like you said, they did a lot of garden stuff, trimmers,
yeah.
chainsaw, Husqvarna, two-stroke.
There you go. So hopefully, Jason, that's answered your question.
Yeah, good question, that as well, Jason. Thanks.
Yeah.
Right, I'll do one. I've got one here. Hello, Ridecast. This is to Gremlin. Dear Gremlin, just wondered if you think you are on track to getting back onto two wheels. Also, when you do eventually get back on a bike, do you think you will keep the trike or will you see it as having served its purpose and sell it? Keep biking, from Dan. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, so that's a big question. That are you back on track for getting back on two wheels?
All right, thanks, Dan, for that. I don't know is the answer. I keep looking at not amputee sites. That sounds a bit grim, really. But I keep looking at sites that have disabled riders on, and I do see quite a lot of them are right leg above the knee amputees like me, and some of them are back on two wheels. But it's always the question: how do you keep your foot from bouncing off the foot plates or the foot pegs or whatever? And I have to be honest with you, I don't know if I want to go back on two wheels. I feel very safe on my trike. I know my wife would be very, I think, concerned, upset, worried about me if I went back on two wheels again, because we know what happened last time. And you know what? I like my trike. I know there's times when I think I wish I was back on two wheels again. So the answer is, I don't know. If I did go back on two wheels, I wouldn't keep the trike because I couldn't afford to have both.
Fair enough.
So there you go, Dan. And Pigpen's going to say something disparaging about the fact that I was on two wheels anyway.
To be fair, yeah, you were on two wheels, so you are far safer on. You're safer on four. If I were you,
yeah. Sell the trike and buy a car.
Sell the trike, stick with a car. You're safer in that.
It's safer for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
yeah, it's far safer.
I think the serious answer is, Gremlin, you're not made your mind up yet, have you?
Not yet, no.
No, and there's no rush.
I'm a pretty new amputee, really. I mean, it's what
Couple of years,
it's under 2 years. It's only just over a year since I've started with my prosthetic leg. I've got to have an operation at the end of January, which will mean I'm going to be back in my wheelchair for 6 weeks. So I've got to have revision surgery. So I don't think it'll be next year when I'm back on two wheels.
Do you know what though? Have you had a look at those Yamaha Nikkens with the two wheels on the front and one wheel on the back, and they can bank over like a regular bike?
But I've been reading a lot of things about them and watching the videos. And I don't know how safe they are, to be honest.
Right.
The two. Do you know which ones we mean, Pigpen?
Yeah.
What do you think to them?
They should be more safe than anything because you've got two front wheels.
Yeah. More rubber on the road.
Double the grip.
Have you read the reports though?
No. I've seen a few people out on them, but
yeah.
Careful what you say, Gremlin, because Yamaha are quite litigious, I hear.
I wouldn't have one. They're not for me. But you know,
I'm just thinking as an option, you know, because surely when you stop those at traffic lights, you can keep both feet up. I'm imagining it. Can you?
I don't know. I presume so. I don't know.
Well,
no,
something to think about.
Stick with the Porsche.
Maybe get a test ride on one, Gremlin. Maybe get a test ride on one next year. In a year or two.
I would like to get a test ride on a motorbike next year to see, and that would be the. To be fair, it would be the new Harley Davidson Sportster. I quite like those.
What about? I mean, I'm sure Pigpen will give you a go on his VTX anytime. Anytime you want to go on the VTX.
You up on the back, and I'll take you out.
He values his life more than that, Pigpen.
Yeah. Is that a date? Yep. So there's your answer, Dan. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Cheers, Dan. Right. Who's got one? Pigpen, you should have a couple.
Yeah. Right. Dear Gremlin, Yakka, and Pigpen, your guest in the recent episode mentioned which lodge he first joined. What factors must one consider aside from location when choosing which lodge to join? All the best, Jake.
Well, it's multi-factored, isn't it?
I went to what they call a goose and gridiron night, which a friend of mine who is in the diving side is a mason, took me to what they call a goose and gridiron, which is a introduction to masonry, where masons from different lodges go to a pub and you get to chat to people and they tell you their experiences and hopefully it perks your interest.
And that's a strange name, Goose and Gridiron. Any ideas why they called?
Yes. Yep. So the Goose and Gridiron was one of the original 3 pubs where the Masons met back in the 1700s before they formed the United Grand Lodge of England.
Correct. So I was at this Goose and Gridiron night with one friend, and when I walked in,
Because he's only got one friend.
and when I walked in, I bumped into another friend of mine from
More like an acquaintance.
what I've had. It just keeps talking, doesn't it? It's like a broken dog. So this friend, I walked in, and I've known him for probably over 30 years. He was in a different lodge. So I got talking to him, and then he was telling me who was in that lodge, and there was another.
You knew people.
And it was like,
And he worked out he now has 3 friends.
and all of a sudden I had more friends in this lodge. So I joined the lodge I did because the people that were in it, the night that it made a difference. You know, I didn't want to go to one during a school night as such at the time.
Yours meets on a Friday, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that Friday meeting night was a big factor for you then?
Yeah, because some of the other nights of the week I was already doing things. So Friday nights were a good night for me. Getting to the place, it's all right saying location, but you know, some lodges have either poor parking or you know, they're awkward to get to if they're in a city, or you know, because we meet at 6:30. Most lodges sort of meet 6:30, 7:15. You know, you're heading against rush hour traffic.
Yeah.
So where ours meets, it's a back road, country road to it sort of thing. I can get there easily.
So you've got the night that they meet on.
Yeah.
You've got, I guess as well, how many meetings per year? Because some lodges maybe meet 5, 6 times a year. Others meet like mine 12 times a year. So that's a factor to think about.
Yeah.
See, that would be a factor. That would be a factor that would put me off joining your lodge.
The fact that they meet 12
times. Yeah.
It is too much. It is too much.
Definitely.
I brought it up. I did a proposal in lodge to reduce it to 10, but it didn't get. It got defeated. But I've got a lot of new members coming in, so I might propose it again, maybe later this year. Now that we've got some younger men joining, and who knows what might happen. But the number of times they're meeting, obviously location, as you said, Pigpen. What else? Cost to subs maybe is another thing to
Sometimes
consider.
cost, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Just go through costing of subs for your lodges then. What's yours, Yakka?
Ours is 205, I believe.
Pigpen?
197.
So I'm in 2 lodges. I've just paid one for Lascelles, which is £165. And I think Harlow is 155. But I'm looking at the lodge where I'm a liaison officer for, and the subs there are £210.
Right. Quite dear then.
Your Harlow Lodge did get a legacy, didn't they, which helps your...
Yeah, it does. That has kept the costs down.
it
Has kept the subs down. You've also got to think about not just your lodge fees, but then also the festive board, your bit for the almoner. So, you know, it can be an expensive hobby.
And another one that Pigpen has, just to recap, Pigpen mentioned who's in the lodge. There might be people in a particular lodge that you get on with. There might be people in the lodge that you don't get on with. So you might want to avoid that lodge.
Like Priory.
So there are a lot of factors involved, a lot to do with cost, meetings, where it go, you know, who's in the lodge. All these factors need to be taken into account. Get online. Provincial website's probably a good place to start, isn't it? And you can see
Go to a social. See if they're having a social. See if they do anything to encourage, whether it's a white glove event, white table event. Whether it might be meeting for members are allowed to come to a festive board afterwards, which is what we do at Lascelles.
a ladies' night or a Christmas party, or
go for it.
I think that's answered. That was Jake, wasn't it? Hopefully, Jake. That's given you a little bit of an idea of what to take into account if you are looking to join a lodge. So good luck with that.
Right, now my next. This is a really tough one. Dear Ridecast, I was listening with interest to your latest episode where Worship Brother Steve spoke fondly of owning an Enfield. Why did Royal Enfield lose the royal element of its name? Sincerely and fraternally, Brian. Now, who can answer that one?
That is a
what-
tough one, isn't it?
I'm struggling, really.
I think it's something to do with when they moved the location of the factory. It ended up going to India, didn't it? It was originally a factory in Britain, and it had the Royal Charter, so it was Royal Enfield. I don't know how a company is granted the Royal Charter, but you can get a Royal Charter on boxes of chocolates and all sorts, can't you? So it's something to do with the royal family, and then it got bought out, moved out to India, and when they moved the factory to India and production began over there, that's when the royal moniker, as it were, was dropped. But I can't tell you much more than that.
So I found out that Royal Enfield was a brand under which the Enfield Cycle Company Limited of Redditch, Worcestershire, sold motorcycles, bicycles, lawnmowers and stationary engines, which they had manufactured. Enfield Cycle Company also used the brand name Enfield without the Royal. Anybody else want to have a go at it?
Well, I'm going to say, I think you're correct in, I don't think you can have a Royal insignia outside of either the UK or definitely without when India left
the empire,
the sort of empire type style. I think it has to still be a British.
So does Scud ride an Enfield or a Royal Enfield?
I think it's an Enfield, although I've read somewhere recently that they were getting the Royal Charter back and that they were going to recall them Royal Enfield, but I don't know. I don't know if I've maybe just dreamt that.
Yeah, don't know. I've not seen that. I've seen his bike, but I didn't take.
Well, maybe a listener can educate us. If there's a listener out there that knows the full shebang on the details of that story, can you drop us an email, please? Because I'd love to hear about it. I mean, Gremlin, I gave him that email weeks ago, and Gremlin has been unable to research the subject to any.
It's just got no commitment, has it, to anything?
No.
No, two wheels, no commitment.
Truth be told,
no commitment.
Truth be told, I gave Gremlin that email about 5 minutes before we started recording. So.
Yeah, because to be fair, you've had it for 2 months and haven't been able to find anything about it. That's the truth. I put that to you, sir.
I never thought to send it to him any earlier so we could do a bit of research, but there you go. So like I said, if anyone knows the answer to that question, could you get in touch? Ridecast@hotmail.com. We're waiting for your emails. Thank you.
There we go.
That was from Brian, wasn't it? Thanks, Brian. And that's signed off as SNF. So
Freemason.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Is that all our emails then, or do we have any more?
I've just got a great quick one. Dear Ridecast lads, what is a decompression lever? Stu.
Yeah, this was when Steve was talking about, was that the Enfield he was talking about that had a decom lever? I think it was last month when we were interviewing Steve, he was talking about his decompression lever on that. Well, having owned a bike with a decompression lever, Gremlin, over to you.
Yes, on my Yamaha XT500, I had a decompression lever. And it was to do with kick starting.
Well, yeah, what about
Keep going. What? Explain.
And I had to... Do you know what? I can't remember. It's that long since I had my XT500. And I couldn't kickstart it now anyway, because I don't have a right leg.
Well, I have never used the decompression lever, but I know basically what they are and how they work. But Pigpen, I'm sure you can give us a proper breakdown. It's something to do with compression at top dead center on the big bore engines, isn't it? The amount of compression that they generate.
And our very own Big Bore's going to talk about it.
I had a Mako 490 that had one on. A lot of the old stationary engines, they had them. It's all to do with, the pressure at top dead center is so great on the bigger stuff. You physically can't get
you couldn't kickstart
you can't kick it over on the crank. It's too hard. So either something bends with inside the engine that's trying to do that work, like the kickstart or the kickstart shaft. So it takes off a bit of the top end of the compression.
So how does it do it? Does it open? It opens a valve of some.
Yeah, basically
you move the lever.
It's pulling a valve over to let some of the compression out. So in theory, there's just enough to get it going,
right?
And then once it's going, you've let go of the kickstart, you've let go of the decompression, you're at full.
So the
pace.
decompression valve closes instantly as soon as it fires and the engine's turning. You don't have to physically close that lever, close that
Usually,
valve.
some of them you pulled it on, and
Yeah.
it clicked into place, and then
Right.
when it fired, it did it itself. And
Right.
some of them you let go of them. So like the old diesel dumpers where you used to swing it with a handle. When you got up to speed, you
Yeah.
then flick the lever across, and that put it into full compression, which then
Fired the engine up and
let
away
it
it went.
fire. So yeah,
Right,
it used to
right.
be a bit of a sort of game of kicking it, letting go of it, and then trying
A
to
bit
get
of
your
an
foot
art.
off it.
A bit of an art, then, was it?
It was an
Yeah.
art form, because if you got it wrong, it used to kick back and then either break your ankle or spit you off the front of the bike.
Yeah. I mean, I had an RD350 that was a kickstart, but I mean they were twins, so
Yeah.
you know, small bore,
Two-
barrels,
small pistons,
and they
yeah.
were easy to kickstart. But I guess you get those big motocross. You could get, how big would they go for? Like if you had a 490, did you say? Is it a 490?
Yeah.
CC.
And another one, a Yamaha WR400, which is a 4-stroke 400, and that
was a single
Yeah.
cylinder.
that used
Yeah.
to be a bit of a pig, and they were renowned for being sort of bad starters. And
All right. So that's the decompression lever explained. Thanks for that, Pigpen.
I think that's it for me.
Yeah, good. Right. I think we're all sorted, unless Gremlin, unless
No, apparently not. Pigpen's shaking his head. He's had that many Pigpen pals that he needs a bit of a break for the start of the year.
yeah.
He needs to get his decompression lever sorted, ready with a bit of pressure for the new year.
All right. Well, that about wraps up season 3, guys. So congratulations on completing another season of Ridecast. So our next episode, if we can get back together again in a few weeks and record episode 1 of season 4. But in the meantime, thanks to all our listeners for listening to the podcast. If you want to drop us a message, like I said just a minute ago, ridecast@hotmail.com. We'd love to hear your messages. Thanks to all the people that have emailed us the last few months so that we could read them out. They were real good emails this month, I thought.
I think so. And also thanks to our sponsors.
Who's that?
Harley Davidson. I mean, they are incredible.
They ought to be the amount they get mentioned on this show.
I know the amount of checks that come through my front door after every episode.
Right. Yeah, it's all coming out now.
Oh dear.
All right. Well,
dear,
anyway,
dear.
I think we're about done. So I am going to say this is Yakka signing off for Ridecast. Happy New Year, everyone. And it's over to you, Gremlin.
Yeah, and it's goodbye from him.
It's goodbye from me with a big Happy New Year, everyone.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for listening. See you later.
Bye.
See you later. See you guys. Good episode, chaps.
I just think we almost got through without any swearing.
Yeah, we had a few and a couple of